You know that IKEA ad? Well, this one.
Here's your receipt. Have a nice day.
I feel like that right now, and I am freaking ecstatic because I've been saving up to buy myself a new table saw for a while now, and they aren't particularly cheap. So I was hunting around online. I found a website called Pickles that basically do a lot of small auctions, and they sell off old estates and places that are shutting down, and I found absolute perfect table saw, and I do feel like this right now. Because I feel like I have just paid nowhere near enough for this thing, and it is freaking awesome. So I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to put it together because right at the moment I don't know how, and it's got so many different pieces, so come along and see how it goes. Now, for some of you guys who are a little bit more savvy and have seen some of my older videos, this is my old table saw. It is an old Triton one, and it did the job, but I started having big problems with it. Whenever I tried to cut something, the workpiece kept on veering off in the wrong direction and it just would not cut straight, which is the last thing that you want for it. So this one is now going to be retired. It's worked well, but it is aging a bit and it's time to upgrade to something a little bit nicer. Now, this here is my brand new, slightly dusty table saw, and it is freaking awesome. I've got to say so myself, the motor is huge. It's about a 3 horsepower motor, and it's got some fancy things with the saw. It's got a scribe saw, so it's got a very tiny little blade here. So I'll take you guys a little bit closer. So if you have a look at this thing, it's got a little blade right here that goes along with this one. So when they spin, this one spins a little bit faster, and it's slightly wider than this saw here. So if I'm cutting something, it'll do a very quick score with that blade, and then this blade comes through and finishes off the job. And I am freaking thrilled with this thing. And one other thing which I've noticed is it is a sliding table saw. So there is a second part which I'm going to have to figure out how to put together and do that sort of fun stuff. But I'm going to start putting all the stuff back together and figure out how it all actually works and give it a little bit of a clean up and then see how well this thing actually pumps through the wood and that sort of fun stuff. But a little bit of details about this thing as I am going through and doing it. Now, I bought it off a website called Pickles, which usually do a whole lot of car auctions and those sort of fun things, but this one was absolutely perfect. And it had a really bad picture. I bought it sight unseen. It had pretty much no details about it, which is why I got it so cheap. I bought this one for about $370 plus Pickles fee on top of that, but that wasn't really that much at all. When I've been looking for new table saws, my budget was about $2,000 and I hadn't finished saving up that much, and then I saw this one and I started bidding on it straight away, and I am thrilled that I got it for this price because it looks freaking awesome. Now, since this table came from one of those job site places, one that's a training place, I knew it was going to be an awesome quality one, and I wasn't disappointed. But it has got a few signs of wear and tear, and just stuff from basic use. The fence that I had here had a bit of a wobble to it, so I needed to pull it apart and tighten up some of the bolts underneath, and then it was rock solid. Also, a few of the bits that need to screw into to lock the fence in place were a little bit bent out of place, but a little bit of advice and bending back, and it worked quite well in that regard. Now, the next thing that I'm just really happy about is the quality of the fence on this thing, because with the Triton I needed to lock it up on both sides, and this one you lock it up on one side and it is just rock solid. I was so happy with it. And here is the fence, and the thing just slides like a dream. I put a little bit of grease on it to make it slide a little bit easier, but to be honest, it didn't really need it. Now, this is another effect of just a little bit of wear and tear. The bolt on this one was stripped down, it was too hard to pull in and out. So I went down to Bunnings, I grabbed another one the same size, and it screwed in and out easily. So I just needed to move the little toggle, turny bit onto it, and glue it back into place, and then just press it back in. And it worked quite well. And the bit that it actually for, it took me a little while to figure out what it was for, because there was already a screw-in latch, but I discovered that this one has a little feature that you can screw on the end of it, and it screws it back and forth minute little pieces. So if I want to change like 2 or 3 mil, then I've just got to tighten that one and then screw the little knob on the end. And the inaugural, see how it actually works. So I've got a big piece of wattle here, and it just slid through it like a dream. This thing is a really tough piece of wood. It is one of the hardest woods I've been able to find, and it went through it like it was nothing, which makes me very, very happy. So I was loving how this thing was actually turning out. So like I said, I am extremely happy with this table. It is more than I expected to get out of something this awesome. So there are a couple little things that I'm still going to do to it that I don't have time for in this video. There are some nice little latches that you can get, and they go on top of this. I'll put a little picture in there, and I'm going to wedge it up so that I can put pieces of wood in here and then strap them down to the sliding table and slide it back and forth. I'm not sure if there was something originally for it, but I didn't get anything like that with it. So I'm going to make some of them. But one thing I am really looking forward to on this table is being able to make a straight line on flat pieces of wood, because if I try and push it up against the fence, then you're still wobbling back a little bit and it's not perfectly straight. With this one, I can attach them straight to the fence and it is perfect. This underneath the table here, this part here, I can pull back and forth so I can maneuver it however I want, and that is awesome. And the only other problem that I've come up with is, I'll just show you. For the scriber, I got this little guy, and I'm not quite sure how it works, but it's not quite strong enough to be able to pull the blade, because the little scriber, I'll show you the little one I mean, this little guy here that I have put inside of it, it just doesn't have enough oomph to be able to push through the wood. It stalls and it just doesn't push it enough. So I've taken it off for now, and I'm gonna try and find a solution for it, because I haven't found anything that I quite like just yet. But I now have some projects that I'm going to do with this, and I am looking forward to them. So I'm going to give this guy a bit of a workout, see how well I can get it to work with some fantastic wood. I'll show you this wood here that's going to be in a future project. I have some really hard wattle, and I'm going to make something very cool out of that. So keep tuned for that one, but it should be awesome. And that is pretty much it for this video. So thank you guys for watching, and if this is the first video of mine, then keep tuned for the cool stuff that will be coming out soon. So thanks guys, and I'll see you next time.